Will the streak continue? 17 straight. Seth Davis is on the sidelines for us today, and he's down there with Coach Bill Belichick. Take it away, Seth.
All right, thanks, Jim. And Coach, you're 60 minutes away from making NFL history. Tell me one thing your team needs to do really well today to get number 18.
Well, we don't really care about that. We're just trying to win this division game on the road. I think we're going to have to play a good, solid football game, be physical, cut down on the penalties, and not make any big mistakes and give me the easy points or easy field position.
All right, Coach, thanks and good luck.
Okay, thanks.
Jim?
All right, thank you, Seth. Coach Belichick, Phil, he will not get involved in any of that talk about a record 18th straight win when you factor in both regular season and postseason. He says, I only care about the relevance of this game and what it means to this season.
Even though you asked him that question 6 times last night, 8 different ways, he didn't fall. It's all about coming here today, being physical, and out hitting the Buffalo Bills.
All right, the Patriots, Bethel Johnson, there he is, standing at the goal line. $31-0 Buffalo last year. It was the season opener right here. But then on the final week of the regular season, a complete reversal. Patriots blank them by the same score. What will happen here in 04 as Bethel Johnson runs it from the 3? And Johnson across the 20 and dragged down just beyond it. And here comes Tom Brady. 5-1 in his career against Buffalo. I talked about how he said, no question, the worst game of my career here at Buffalo a year ago. He said, I walked off the field glad it wasn't 60-0 when I walked off, the final score. Dan Copeland snaps it to him. 19-1 record in his career as a starter. He did not start in that season opener last year, took over week 2 and has never let up. And there's Corey Dillon coming off a big game out at Arizona when he rushed for 158 yards in the win over the Cardinals. Bethel Johnson starts out the game lined up as a receiver. Brady across the middle and right through the hands of his target, Corey Dillon, but there is a flag. Johnny Greer presiding over the officiating crew today.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 59, defense, late hit, first down.
London Fletcher so fired up, getting slapped with a 15-yarder on the game's first play.
Well, fired up is how he plays every single snap of a football game. The New England Patriots says this is the guy you got to look out for. The short pass over the middle. He makes a hit, and oh my gosh. Oh, there's where it is. I see why. He knew the ball was incomplete. He took the receiver to the ground. Personal foul.
Troy Brown, David Patton, David Gibbons, the 3 receivers for the Patriots. First down from the 38. Another flag. Looked like the Bills jumped. And the completion to David Gibbons for 7 yards. Gibbons coming off his first career 100-yard performance.
Offside, defense, number 95, will penalize 5 yards, still first down.
It's called on Sam Adams. This Bills defense a little jumpy here. Flags on the first 2 plays, and that call was on Sam Adams, who last year in that shutout win week 1 against the Patriots ran back an interception for a touchdown. And there's London Fletcher with the personal foul call on the first play of the game, but he's led the league the last 5 years. 900 tackles he's made in that span. And Coy Wire starts at strong safety in place of Lawyer Malloy, who is out with a broken forearm. 1st and 5 for the Patriots. Mike Mularkey looking for his first win as a head coach. Brady going down the field and right on out of the hands of Graham. The big tight end who's caught 3 touchdowns in the first 2 games was open inside the 40.
Yeah, the New England Patriots, good situation. 1st and 5, throw the football down the field. Perfect throw by Drew Bledsoe, and Daniel Graham is becoming a really big threat going down the field, catching football passes from the tight end position. But emotion is a great thing, Jim, and the Bills have it. The crowd's here. Don't let it get the best of you. 2 bad penalties to start the game by the defense.
Sets up 2nd and 5. Daniel Graham, his rookie backup Benjamin Watson, put on IR this week with a knee injury. Brady swings it over right side, and that's Dillon for 4, leaving him a yard shy. 3rd down coming up. Izell Reese on the coverage.
Of course, I'm in a throw by Tom Brady, not Drew Bledsoe. You look at Bill Belichick, Jim. We laughed about, did not want to hear about the streak. The one positive for this New England Patriots team, they can bring into this game, even though they're 2-0 going against an 0-2 team. You said it many times. Last year, what happened? They've tried to make the corrections from last year, so it wouldn't happen here again this year.
3rd down and 1, and they run it for the first. Hard-working, churning effort there by Corey Dillon. So right at midfield, or may get it to 49 of the Patriots. Another set of downs.
Well, a couple things to look for. And you look at this New England Patriots offense. The #1 criteria to win this game. Sooner or later, you got to be physical up front and just outslug the Buffalo Bills. That's one. The inside players, Sam Adams, Pat Williams, and London Fletcher, they are the heart of the Buffalo defense.
Look at that pass. Bouncing incomplete, but a quick flag. That 3rd down run for Dillon, he had a fullback lined up in front of him. It was Dan Klecko coming over and helping clear the way. Now 1 on New England. Buffalo team 0-2, but each loss.
Illegal motion. Number 86, offense. Moving forward at the snap. We'll penalize 5 yards. Still 1st down.
Each loss by 13-10 scores. And looking back, Lawyer Malloy had just been picked up during the week, coming over from the Patriots, signed, and there's the big run back by Adams. Travis Henry rushed for 2 scores, and 4 times they picked Brady. 31-0. They try that same pass play, and another flag is down, and Troy Brown with the catch and a gain of only a yard. Boy Wire had him tightly covered.
Personal foul. Chop block. Number 68, offense. Still 1st down.
That's on Tom Ashworth, the right tackle.
The Bills gave the Patriots a couple gifts early. Now the Patriots giving them back. A chop block. You can't watch Tom Ashworth, middle of the screen, coming down. The defensive lineman is engaged, and he goes and hits him low. You are not allowed to go down the line of scrimmage, 2 players removed from where you line up, and block them below the waist if they're engaged by another offensive player.
Now that sets it up only 1st and 30. And they bring in the blitz, and this one again is stopped with another flag. Jeez. It's going to be first and 35 coming up.
Well, let's go back to what Tom Brady said to us last night. This is the loudest and hardest stadium to play in, he says, as a visitor. But what did a story last year, he said it was 2nd and 2. He goes 2nd and 2. We just gained 8 yards. He said the crowd was so loud that I could not get in the huddle and communicate to my guys what we were trying to do the next play.
And Dan Copen, his center, said even when Brady was under center, I couldn't hear the snap count sometimes.
Had to turn his head to hear it.
1st and 35. They try to get it all right here, going down the field, and the catch is made by Givens. And he was touched, even though he jumps to his feet. They'll down him at the 32 for a 1st down. 44 yards to David Givens.
Patriots in a huddle trying to go with the hurry-up offense. I don't know if they're worried that it was an incomplete pass.
And Brady just sneaks. They were rushing as though they were afraid that was going to get challenged.
Yeah,
just let's snap it, make it official, and move on.
What a throw by Tom Brady. So common right now. David Pat so many times. David Givens getting on a safety. That's what you try to do now in the NFL to get a big play. Get one of your wide receivers against a safety on the opposing team. There's a lot of space for the safety to deal with, and usually the wide receiver is much faster.
Second down from the 30. And it's Dillon tripped up for a 2-yard loss. But wasn't it fascinating to see how quickly they sprinted to the line? This is something I'm sure that they've worked on. If there's any question we may lose a huge game, let's just go ahead and get up there as quickly as possible and snap it.
Well, I would think Charlie Weiss or somebody said in Tom Brady's ear that hurry up and snap the ball. Do not give him a chance to review it just in case. But it was a clean catch by David Givens.
Yeah, it looked clean. But now it's 3rd and 10. From the 33. Brady with good time tries the right side, and the catch is made. That's Bethel Johnson for another first. Working on Troy Benson over there, the veteran.
Yes, nice throw by Tom Brady. They are going into the win. But what really was exceptional was the pickup, the blitz by the Buffalo Bills. They thought they would get to the quarterback that singles up the wide receiver on the outside. Nice catch by Bethel Johnson.
You just never know what the Patriots are going to throw at you. Here's Bethel Johnson, 1 catch for 5 yards through the first 2 games. And he picks up the first on 3rd and long. Deion Branch, we're seeing a lot of Bethel Johnson on this opening series because Deion Branch is inactive with a knee injury. And Troy Benson shaken up on that last play. He was the man trying to defend against Johnson.
Talk about this Buffalo defense. Just go back to that last play. The 3 down linemen, a different look. Then look at the blitz. Timed perfectly by the Bills, but the Patriots all over it. Pick it up, and Tom Brady, any quarterback knows, once the defense blitz, just look to the outside because the corners are going to be by themselves. He made a good decision and an excellent throw.
Troy Benson coming over as a free agent from Philadelphia in the offseason, president of the NFL Players Association, and really largely responsible for the Jerry Rice streak ending 2 weeks ago, shutting him down in that Buffalo game out at Oakland. They brought in now Terrence McGee to replace him, and up the middle they go for the touchdown. Corey Dillon right up the middle with a big burst.
What an opening drive by the New England Patriots. One thing that the Buffalo Bills, some of their players told us, you can forget about running inside. They will not be able to do that. They won't be able to overpower us. We will stop it. But what a hole is made by that offensive line by the Patriots.
And that's the first touchdown in a Patriot uniform for Corey Dillon. The Patriots have now, including the playoffs, scored first in 11 straight games. Well, Corey Dillon, that was some performance there. His first touchdown in 139 touches. And the break up the middle, the first rushing touchdown for the Patriots, over 10 yards long since last October. And they completed on that drive first downs on 3rd and 1, 1st and 35, and 3rd and 10. Here's the run back by McGee, and he doesn't make it to the 20. He has clobbered a couple of times. Larry Izzo, of course, is in on that. Here's the burst up the middle to put the Patriots up 7-zip. The Bills in an early hole as their offense takes the field for the first time. With Bledsoe under center, Travis Henry the tailback. An offense that's produced only 1 touchdown in each of its first 2 games. Bledsoe airing it out long on the first play of the game. He's got his target out there. It's Lee Evans, the rookie first rounder from Wisconsin. 55 yards.
Lee Evans was drafted to stretch the defense. That's what he does best. He has the speed to go deep, and the Bills now in a hurry-up offense, trying to get the crowd involved or keep it involved. That's the way you do it with exciting plays down the field. It's funny, in the New England Patriots, oh, I think Johnny Greer's hurt.
Johnny Greer is limping.
Wow, the crowd's booing him because it's ruining the momentum.
Yeah, it killed the hurry-up offense.
Well, let's watch Lee Evans on the outside. The first-round draft pick from Wisconsin, noted for his speed, and what is so nice about this, never slows down, waits to the last second, sticks his hands out, and makes a clean catch in those big hands, and that is something the Buffalo Bills talked about. Oh, you see Johnny Greer coming off the field.
That long pass play, they were working on Tyrone Poole. I thought I may have seen a little face mask in there, too, that wasn't called.
You did see it, and it's what's so interesting. The Patriots talked about, they said, we know Buffalo is going to go deep, because all they talked about after the last game is they complained we didn't go deep enough.
Take a timeout on the field. We'll be right back. The Bills medical staff continues to work on Johnny Greer, and Scott Green, who was the back judge, has moved now into the position of referee. And they had to pause for a moment as a cart came close to the field, carting off now Troy Vincent, injured on that opening series by the Patriots on that pass play to Bethel Johnson. Strange happenings here in the early going. Now the second snap of the game for Bledsoe after picking up 55 yards to Lee Evans. It's Henry for a quick gain of 3. Drew Bledsoe, of course, the first selection in the '93 draft, overall #1, before being traded in 2002 for a #1 pick, coming over to Buffalo. He's got on that left side, needing help today from Jonas Jennings, who's going against Richard Seymour, his old Georgia teammate and very close pal. And there's Travis Henry. And they're saying now from the sidelines that it's a knee for Vincent, and he's out for the rest of the game. McGahee is in the lineup along with Henry. They've got both backs. Looking pass all the way. Bledsoe open. Man, it's Eric Moulds. First down at the 13. Eugene Wilson beaten on that play, defending.
Well, when you have a big quarterback who can stand back there when there's pressure on him, and a wide receiver who plays tall, is tall, and tough, Eric Moulds. For your team to win, your stars always have to play well. Drew Bledsoe, Eric Moulds, the running backs, Travis Henry or Willis McGahee, need to play well today.
Moulds again far left. They've got Josh Reed coming in motion. A first down from the 12. Henry inside the 10 for a couple. Ty Warren hit him first. New England defense, we mentioned Seymour. There he is. Would like to spend some time in that backfield today. And that's been, of course, the sore spot for the Bills. How many sacks they've allowed. Vrabel, the linebacker who caught the final touchdown in the Super Bowl for New England last year with 2 minutes and change to go. And Rodney Harrison joined this team a year ago. What a first season he had. 11-year veteran from Western Illinois. Willie McGinnis is now walking off. And Mark Campbell also for the Bills. We've had a number of flags, too many injuries, and even the official, the lead referee, going down. We're not even halfway through the opening quarter. So with Campbell out, Tim Ewis comes in. Number 87 is a tight end on 2nd down and 8. Henry the single back. Bills trying to match the Patriots opening touchdown. Henry just a whole wall to meet him after the handoff, and a 1-yard loss.
Well, you look at this Bills offense, some of the things they would like to do today. They would like to, of course, be physical up front. Do not give up on the running game. They didn't do it the first 2 regular season games. Stay with it and see if you can wear down the New England defense somewhat, and then take advantage of it in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter.
We saw Willie McGinnis walk off, a small adjustment maybe with his pads. He's back in on this 3rd and 8 situation. Patriots have not allowed an opening drive touchdown since week 1 against the Bills last year. Scott Green stepping in is not wired for the microphone, so the procedure penalty against the Bills. It'll be 3rd and 13 from. Read the thoughts of Mr. Sims.
Don't worry about the microphone not working. I can read lips.
Across the middle they go, and incomplete, looking for Reed. Crowd wanting a call, but there's no flag here.
Well, they want a call, and Drew Bledsoe is shaking his hands because he had exactly what he wanted. Nobody in the middle of the field, one-on-one coverage on the outside, and the football looks like it just gets away from him a little. Josh Reed, there it is. It's open. Stick it down and low. And when you can see Drew Bledsoe getting upset, and early it looks like the New England Patriots want to be aggressive and crowd the line of scrimmage against this Buffalo offense.
33-yard try coming for Ryan Lindell. And the Bills put 3 on the board with their first drive. Tom Brady, he'll take the field for the 2nd time. He was sharp the first time out. 7-3 New England. Elvis in the building again. I agree with that. I'd just like to be your running mate for that as well.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the first time ever in my life I've had somebody have a sign in the audience about me. Except when I played, there was usually some derogatory ones up there. That was by the home fans.
What is your platform, by the way, for president?
Yeah. Pay announcers more money. How's that one? That's a good one, isn't it?
Got my vote. All right, 7-3 each team taking its first possession, driving down for scores. Touchdown for New England, field goal for the Bills, and Bethel Johnson. And only to the 20. I'm not sure that would be a platform that would really hit home in America. We'll work on that. We'll be right back to Foxborough. Lawyer Malloy out with a broken forearm, the former Patriot.
I just saw him giving Drew Bledsoe a few pointers. I would think he would know a little bit about that New England defense.
Play action. What a pickup. Look at the block by Dillon, who gets the ball coming right back to him. Dillon supporting his quarterback and then taking it for about 12 yards on what is now the 1,000th career completion for Tom Brady.
Well, it was a good one. It was all Corey Dillon. First, he picks up the blitz. Watch Jeff Posey on the outside. Goes low, takes his legs right out from under him. Nobody open down the field. Drop it off. And Corey Dillon, what he brings to this football team. Speed, tough runner, gets tough yards. And Bill Belichick said last night, he has the respect of every player and every coach in the New England organization right now. What a pickup by the Patriots.
They go with Dillon off left tackle, and he's out to the 40. It didn't just end with players and coaches. He said office personnel, our trainers, everybody respects Corey Dillon. He's come right in here. And similar, he said, to what it was like when Rodney Harrison joined the team a year ago from San Diego.
I think every team gets a little magic going for them. For a while, it was the San Francisco 49ers. All the veterans went out there and played, and it just worked, whoever they brought out there. And the Patriots are now in that. They got it going now, too. Mike Vrabel, Rodney Harrison, now Corey Dillon. Guys come in, they know what's expected, they just get it done.
2nd and 3 after the 7-yard run by Dillon. And they're blitzing Brady, and right through the hands of David Patton. We've got an update, so we're heading it over to Greg Gumbel in the studio.
All right, Jim, we'll take you to Jacksonville. Lots of eyes on this game. Peyton Manning, NFL leading 10th touchdown pass of the season, 15 yards to Marvin Harrison. The Colts grabbed the early lead on the Jaguars, 7-0 Indy. Jim and Phil, back to you.
Okay. And Phil, those Jags have not given up a lot of touchdowns this year, but a quick one by the Colts.
Well, they haven't faced the Colts, and they do not have a good pass rush, so Peyton Manning's going to get plenty of time to throw it.
3rd and 3. Couple of huge conversions on their first series. This time almost picked. Oh, you could see him coming. Terrence McGee There is a flag in the backfield.
Roughing the passer.
It is indeed against the Bills. Roughing up Brady. And I think it's going to be Fletcher for the second time for a personal foul penalty.
Well, it's got to be a blow to the head because he was right on time as far as hitting the quarterback as he throws it.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 59, blow to the head.
So Green is all mic'd and Fletcher is all jacked up, but it cost him.
Blitz. Oh, boy. Optical illusion. The crowd reacts to it. It is high. He keeps his... Why it shouldn't have been a penalty. London Fletcher never ducks his head. There was no contact helmet to helmet. It just kind of looks that way.
Patrick pass in the game for New England. And they dump it over for the short gain to Christian Spurrier. Backup tight end. Another update. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Jim, if you're Pittsburgh and you're at the 2-yard line, who do you give it to? Jerome Bettis had 3 one-yard runs week 1. This one's 2 yards. He's doubling up. Ties the game at 7-7, guys.
All right, Greg. So Bettis, all those touchdowns have been at home, too. They had those 3 in the opening week win.
He's going to be gassed from that 2-yard run. That's a long way.
Second down and 3. Pass. Set up 3rd and short, but again, the Patriots have been converting all of these 3rd down situations so far. You saw Jacksonville down 7-0, one of the undefeated teams. And besides New England, these are the other ones on the list. 6 in all.
Well, you look at this, you look at that list of undefeateds, but you watch this game so far today. Buffalo's defense has gotten the New England offense in about 6 scenarios where it favored them, and they have ruined about 3 of them by committing penalties.
Again, Klecko lined up as a fullback on 3rd and short. Man is open. It's Spurrier, and he's down at the 20. 17 yards. Brady again in the clutch.
What a throw by Tom Brady, being chased by Sam Adams. The play action fake, they're not fooled. Christian Spurrier was blocked and then released, and Takeo Spikes lost him down the field. He was blocking Takeo Spikes, he let him go, he took off, and Tom Brady found him down the field. Another outstanding play by Tom Brady.
2 catches for Spurrier on this drive. He has a new set of downs at the 21. Right side and no one there. Spikes was threatening to close in on the quarterback, but Brady got rid of it quickly.
Buffalo coming after the quarterback, but when you're in an atmosphere like this, it's loud, it's hard to communicate. When you audible, you're taking a chance. And Tom Brady changed the play. Daniel Graham had no idea what he was saying.
There's Jerry Gray, defensive coordinator for the Bills.
He has given this Patriots offense a lot of looks and a lot of pressure early.
2nd and 10, and Brady rolls out of the pocket. Flags are down. This pass in the end zone is picked off by Terrence McGee. But again, there is a flag.
Illegal motion on the offense, number 87. That penalty is declined. First down.
Well, this defense of Jerry Gray's has been stingy with the yards, but they have been unable to really create any takeaways, big plays. They got one here from McGee.
Welcome back, everybody. Watch Terrence McGee gets the interception. Watch his feet in the end zone. Brady scrambles. What's the stop? Oh, man, he even brings up the rubber. What a stop and what a play by Terrence McGee. He sticks his hand up in between David Patton and pulls it down with one hand.
Uh-oh, watch out here. Did he perhaps let this one slip and touch the turf?
If the pass hit the ground, we'll take a look at it.
They're gonna challenge it now. Patriots have thrown out the red flag.
Understandably so, and it looks like it's going to be an incompletion. TV timeouts, they can hurt your football team every once in a while. The football's up. Still a terrific play by Terrence McGee. The football, good shot of it on the ground. Then he wraps it up.
For Scott Green, remember this, Bill, the fill-in referee now. He was the back judge at the start of this game. Johnny Greer with a foot injury remains out. This is his first ever replay review. This is not a position that he's normally cast.
He's the backup quarterback. Pressure, let's go. Don't want to hear about it. You didn't prepare all week. You know the old saying, don't you, Jim? Nobody cares.
Johnny Greer continues to get the attention of the Buffalo training staff. I mean, you certainly like to have the to go into a game thinking that the official might be on your side of the field or on your bench. Well, to make light of what Johnny's going through right now, but we hear still hopes there's some chance perhaps he can return.
Well, this looks like pulling his toe. He might have just had some cramps in his leg, but Johnny Greer started limping during the first drive of the game, and I guess it got so bad he had to pull himself out. What do you think? Was that enough evidence, what you saw on the interception, to overturn it?
I think it looked like pretty clear evidence that that ball was not a catch, an interception.
Let's look at it one more time. Just a tremendous adjustment by Terrence McGee, though. How these guys stop, react, and get back in position. It's just the ability of the skilled players in the National Football League. It just keeps going up. That's another good shot of it. It's definitely on the ground that time, Jim. Now, every time we run it, I see a little more and more. He is just laying on the football. No arm is underneath it. Now you got to go back. What was the situation?
Well, it'll be a 3rd and 10 for New England if it's overturned, which I expect it will be. So Scott Green about to interact with an audience for the first time.
After reviewing the play, the ball did hit the ground. It is incomplete. There was a 5-yard penalty. We'll accept the penalty. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
Okay, pretty good stuff. Well said.
2nd and 15. Will take the 5-yard penalty instead of the incompletion.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if that's true or not, Jim. I think I would have given 3rd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15.
No question. Well, it's New England ball inside the 30. You might have noticed here another CBS innovation for all you football fans. CBS Game Tracks. The scores and stats continuous. Hope you enjoy that. 2nd down 15. 5-receiver formation here for the Patriots. PK Sam is in the game.
Buffalo said they were ready for this look when the Patriots unveiled it.
Brady pass. Oh, almost this time as well. Almost picked. Nate Clements was in there.
I tell you what, Nate Clements makes a good break on the football. London Fletcher, number 59, watch him come over as the football is up in the air. The Patriot players and the coaches couldn't say enough good things about him last night. How hard he plays, how much he hustles, and how many tackles he makes.
People talk about Fletcher, the way he flies around. You saw it right there. Patrick pass as they fake the throw, and doesn't really fool anyone here. It'll bring out Vinatieri.
3rd and long in the NFL. Nowadays, you have to be extremely careful because defenses really take a lot of chances to make you throw it short in those type of situations.
Adam Vinatieri this season is 5 for 5, and there you see his career percentages. 68% from outside of 40. This one will be 42 yards. And Vinatieri is good. 68%. Well, the Rams don't want to hear about that, nor do the Panthers from outside of 40.
Ourselves. Sins, you play, I'll coach. You got it? Yeah, I got it. It's pretty simple to understand.
And he'll tell Mike Wallace all about that tonight.
Well, exciting, I tell you, the Patriots, it's so much. I wouldn't even know how to capitalize the first 3 drives of this game. Penalties, big plays, missed opportunities, they've all been there so far.
It's Terrence McGee, the return man, who had the overturn on his interception. And he's ready to run. That's McGee across the 20. The 30, and look out, Terrence McGee. Vinatieri won't get near him. Look at him go. Touchdown, Buffalo. Bill Belichick knew it. Knew that they had something on special teams that was indeed special. A week ago against the Raiders, an 89-yard kick return by McGee, wiped out by penalty. Plus, they had a 62-yard punt return by Clements, taken back by penalty. No flag this time. 98 yards, and Lindell can tie it with the PAT. Terrence McGee, second-year player out of Northwestern State, the 5th longest kick return in Bills history. I tell you what, an opening quarter here. Never for 1 second lacking for excitement, and making the play.
The good blocks up front, the bad spacing by the Patriots kickoff team, and then McGee just making one guy miss, not slowing down, and running it for the touchdown.
When he got by number 23, Sean Mayer, it was over. Right there.
Oh, what a move. Sometimes, even in a run game, you got to make somebody miss. The same applies to the return game. And Drew Bledsoe, playing against the Patriots, always something special. What did he say, Jim? Well, you can't help. I got to circle him on the schedule when it comes out every year, when we're going to play the New England Patriots. And Terrence McGee, what a start for him. Stop the touchdown, scores a touchdown.
Bledsoe said when the schedule's released in the spring, it's on my radar.
Yeah.
I know the dates for the 2 games.
How could it not be?
Bethel Johnson, he's run kicks back before. Remember last year at Indianapolis? See what he does with this from 3 yards deep. Johnson, good run back. Gets about 40 yards on the return. First 2 games managed 10 points in each game. They've already put 10 on the board here in the first quarter against the Patriots.
It's about big plays now in the NFL. The return by the Bills and the long pass on their first play generated all 10 points.
Just a quiet run play. Grounded after a yard. Dillon hit by his former Cincinnati teammate, Takeo Spikes. They suffered a lot of years together there in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they did, Jim. And just Takeo Spikes. We talked about London Fletcher. Takeo Spikes, he's another guy. Just everywhere on the field. Top-notch linebacker in the NFL. And along with the 2 inside defensive linemen, that they make it tough to run the football in the Bills defense.
They were teammates for 5 years together for the Bengals. And this one whistled dead.
Daniel Graham.
False start. Number 82 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Changed his hat. Did you notice? You can be the head man. You got to get the right hat on. But I was going to say, this Buffalo defense, they really wanted to show a lot of different things to this New England offense. Kind of a payback in a way, because New England so many times has done it to the Buffalo Bills. They've had their chances to make plays, just not taking advantage of it.
It's 2nd and 15, final half minute of a thrilling first quarter. Dillon making the cutback move. He stopped, paused, went right, and picked up good yardage. 4, maybe 5 for Dillon. And that'll be the final play of the quarter.
Exciting stuff, first quarter.
You're not kidding. We've seen a 44-yard pass to Givens, a 55-yard pass to Evans of the Bills, a 98-yard kick returned by McGee. Dillon with a sprint up the middle, and through one, it's 10-10. We'll return to Ralph Wilson Stadium after this. England football at the Patriots 35-yard line, facing 3rd down, 3rd and 11. And New England kept the football for almost 11 minutes. But the run back by McGee, the neutralizer. 3rd and 11. Right side, and catch is made. That's David Patton. And let's see where they spot it.
I tell you, that is one courageous throw by Tom Brady. Under pressure to throw it all the way outside.
They spot him about a yard short, it looks like to me, Phil.
Against an aggressive. Look at all the action up front by the Buffalo Bills. One-on-one the outside. Boy, I tell you what.
That's Jabari Greer.
He is all over it, too.
All over him. A rookie, undrafted free agent out of Tennessee. Bring the chains across as David Patton makes the catch and may have gotten only 10 of the 11 yards needed.
You know, there's so much. When I watched the play, I was so intent on seeing what kind of pressure they were going to bring on Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady, he said to me last night, the Bills do more on 3rd down where they blitz a lot of guys and other people drop out. And he says, by the time I look and try to make sure I'm not going to get blindsided to fumble, I have a hard time focusing back up on the field to see who I'm going to throw the football to. But a good job that time and a good throw to the outside.
He's almost a full yard shy of the first. 4th and 1 coming up. And we have coming up in just a short while the Nextel halftime report with Greg and Dan and Shannon and Boomer for all the latest scores and highlights. It's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. So Josh Miller will be in to punt for the first time, and Nate Clements is the return man for Buffalo. Again, he had a long run back against the Raiders, nullified by penalty. It was over 60 yards. Could have been a difference maker. See what the special teams delivers right here after the run back by McGee on the kick. Low snap. Beautiful, beautiful kick. Back too strong as Miller's boot goes into the end zone. The touchback, 54 yards, but 20 taken off of it. Boy, it's been a rough go for Drew Bledsoe the first 2 weeks, Phil, and really talk about it since he joined this franchise.
Well, the first week wasn't so bad. Drew Bledsoe was only sacked once, but it's last week when he was sacked so many times against the Oakland Raiders. And you look at it, the most times sacked since 2002. A lot of times you'll see scrambling quarterbacks always in this, but Drew Bledsoe, a pocket quarterback. One thing, if you're going to be a pocket quarterback, you've got to learn to get rid of the football.
And that's Henry. quick stepping it for about 3. Rodney Harrison on the hit. And let's get the greatest hits from Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim. Oakland at Houston. Jamie Sharper finds it so easy to play this game when nobody blocks you. In on Kerry Collins. Gets the sack. Gets the fumble recovery. Gets the 16-yard touchdown. Houston with a 10-3 lead on the Raiders. Jim?
Wow, how about that? Kerry Collins in his first start in a Raider uniform going against Dom Capers, his first NFL coach at Carolina. And that mistake puts the Texans up 10-3. Pass complete over here to Evans, his second catch of the game. And he's about yards short of the first.
Now, you know, we just showed that package on Drew Bledsoe getting sacked so much the first couple weeks. And it is, and just to go back, it is such a big story across the country. It's over. It's past. Drew Bledsoe can't do it anymore. And up here, that's all they're talking about in the Buffalo area. So it's interesting. Today, Drew Bledsoe, of course, he wants to play well, but he's got to make sure, get rid of the football, don't take the sacks, and don't get this crowd going against you.
He has not been touched so far in this one. 3rd and 1. And Henry, it looks like he's got the first down. Boy, they needed that kind of spot last game out against the Raiders when they had a 4th and goal from the 1, and they did not give him the touchdown, even though it looked like, just as he had done here, he'd leaned across the imaginary plane.
Well, I don't want to say this. It was a touchdown. If the Bills would have challenged it, they probably would have been awarded the touchdown. But just to go back to Bledsoe, one little last thing. We talked to Mike Vrabel. He got sacked all those times last week, and you know what Mike Vrabel said? It's going to be hard to get to him today. We know he's going to get rid of it, so we got to be careful. Don't get upfield. Just try to stay in his face. Interesting. The Patriots saw it. They knew the problem would be corrected, and it would be tough for them to get to the quarterback.
That's Henry for 4, running into the arms of Teddy Bruschi. Now, how much of that do you lay the blame on the quarterback, or the fact that they've been breaking in young offensive linemen like Mike Williams on the right side, Jonas Jennings, the left tackle, during his time in Buffalo?
Well, let's say this. It's always a combination of everything, right, Jim? But it really, only one person's going to take the blame, and you got to shoulder it. That's the quarterback. It's like throwing interception. You throw them, somebody slips and falls, it doesn't matter. You still threw the interception.
On 2nd and 5, working the ground game now. Henry into the secondary for the first down. Rodney Harrison by the ankles. Stops him at the 45.
Well, you watch Travis Henry run, and one thing you got to know when you look at him, he's bigger than you think, he's stronger, and he talks so much about, I'm going to give my blockers every chance to make good blocks up front so I can take advantage of it. Be more patient, slow down, and he did it on that run.
And he was led there by Mark Campbell with the good freeing block for 9 yards.
No huddle by the Buffalo Bills. No
Bledsoe.
pass rush.
No, excellent time, and it's Evans jumping up and making the grab at the 39. Well executed for 18. Tyrone Poole was defending, and they continue the hurry-up attack.
Yeah, trying to keep the Patriots from switching personnel. Lee Evans, fast. They wanted to get him in. They have done it so far today.
Ryan Neufeld back up tight end. Now shifts over to that right side. Evans with 3 catches for 79 yards. Rookie coming up big. Back they go to Henry. Henry for a good gain. About 6.
And you know, too, when you watch Travis Henry, you know there's got to be a chip on his shoulder. He's tired of hearing about Willis McGahee behind him. And I tell you, this is a big-time running back, in my opinion, in the NFL. You look at his stats so far this year. Mike Mularkey coming from Pittsburgh. He knows how to teach the running game, and it's going to work up here in Buffalo. Give it time.
Play action. Look out. Bledsoe gets rid of it. And that bounces off the arms of Mark Campbell. And that's avoiding the sack of Bruschi and Vrabel.
Well,
they had
on.
no chance here, Phil.
Let's give it a cheer. Vrabel from the outside, number 50. One of Drew Bledsoe's close friends. When he's with the New England Patriots, gets a good hit. And what did Mike Vrabel say last night? when I said, is it nice to hit Drew Bledsoe, your old friend? He just laughed. Goes, oh, yeah, it's nice. Nothing like beating up your friend in a game.
Boy, I'm telling you, friends taking care of friends.
Ah, shoot, it just makes it sweeter.
Bledsoe says he really keeps in close contact with those two who just hit him, but I don't think he meant that kind of contact. Third down, and he stumbles on the drop back. And that'll go in the books as a sack, even though, well, a 12-yard loss, too. Roosevelt Colvin officially downs him.
Look, pressure. They're pushing on him. Oh, he gets tripped by his own lineman. Larry Smith is pulling around to the right side and runs into Drew Bledsoe. A lot of times when an offensive lineman is pulling, they cheat back in their stance, they get deeper, and it ruins the timing between him and the quarterback.
Boy, just an incomplete pass there would have perhaps brought out Ryan Lindell for some 51-yard, maybe 52-yard field goal try. Instead, they have to punt with Brian Moorman. Trying to down it inside. Oh, what a play at the 1-yard line. What a play by Thomas. Kevin Thomas downs it at the 1.
Just watch Kevin Thomas, bottom of your screen. Knows he's close to the end zone. Touch the football, get rid of it before your foot hits the goal line. Excellent play by Kevin Thomas.
That's a 19-yard play for the Bills, if you will. And Brady standing in the end zone all kinds of time. And incomplete over the head of Bethel Johnson.
You know, that just answered the question. Tom Brady is one cool dude. To stand in the end zone that long and not panic, my gosh, it's incredible. Looks to the right sideline. No. Let me look at the left sideline. Okay, all right, I'll throw it away very reluctantly. And it's just a good example why he finds his second and third receivers down the field. How calm he is.
Corey Dillon gets the call. Not even, well, we'll give him a yard. It's Takeo Spikes. The ball's going to be out at the 2-yard line, 3rd and 9. As they bring in some extra support at the receiver position. Patton's coming in. Gibbons is coming in.
Takeo Spikes, number 51. Oh, just good recognition. Works his way across. You got to be careful in a situation like this as an offense. The defense could show you something new and make you and try to create a mistake.
Take the wide receiver screen. They run it instead out to the 8 just to give him a little room. It's Patrick Pass with his second carry of the game. Gain of 6.
Excellent play call by the Patriots. Don't take a chance. Crowd noise. The defense is fired up. 3rd and long is it's a terrible situation. Even more so now in the NFL.
Josh Miller, 54-yard and 64 yards, but it was a touchback with his first kick. Nate Clemens near the 50. Miller with the wind at his back. This one not quite the same launch as the first one. Clements dancing around inside the 50. An excellent starting field position for this series for the Bills, who are tied at 10. They tied it on a kick return. First time in this game either team has started in the opposition's into the field. And the Bills from the 46. Bledsoe picked off. Intercepted here by Tyrone Poole. He's looking for Eric Moulds right into the arms of Poole.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I don't see any reason for Drew Bledsoe to throw it over here to Eric Moulds. Was supposed to look right away. You can see the linebacker, the safety, everybody is around Eric Moulds, and Drew Bledsoe threw a nice soft pass right to him.
Miscommunication?
I don't know. I watched Eric Moulds. He didn't have the body language of somebody that says, I just made a mistake.
All right, the Patriots, their last 2 series, it's been 3 plays and out. Operating from the Patriots 49, and for them, the first time they open a drive from Buffalo territory. Going deep, got a man at the 10. It's David Patton inside the 10. Terrence McGee was beaten on the play, the kick returner.
What a play call by the Patriots. This game is so much about guessing right. They've got David Patton going deep across the middle, and what do they get? No defender is in the middle of the field, and David Patton is one of the faster wide receivers in the league, and McGee is behind him but can never catch up.
Brady's second pass play of over 40 yards coming right off the Bledsoe interception.
A defense wants to be aggressive. If they are, you've got to look down the field, and the Patriots have done that.
Dillon, he already has 1 touchdown today, and he's 2 yards shy of the goal line this time. Isel Reese prevents him from finding the treasured turf.
What a change. You tie it up 10-10. You've missed many opportunities. You got the ball on the Patriots side of the field. You make a huge mistake, and what do the Patriots do? They come out first play, they make you pay for it, and now they're down on the 2-yard line.
They got Klecko lined up as the fullback. 2nd down and goal. Dillon gets the call again. Dillon just knocked back, and is it a fumble? Bills say they haven't. Look at Spurrier come in and move the pile. Doesn't help. It's Buffalo ball.
Penetration by the Bills defense ruins the play. Look how they get in the backfield. Corey Dillon doesn't have time to really get control of the football. And I don't know if it's so much that, it's just a good hit by Chris Kelsey at the line of scrimmage that jars the football loose.
2 turnovers in a 1.5-minute span. What a break for the Bills, tied at 10. Henry still on his feet, out across the 15. Rashad. Make that Eugene Wilson on the hit. A gain of 13. It's not like Corey Dillon fumbles that often. He had, coming into this game, had not fumbled in over 200 touches. There it is now, 229 touches since his last fumble.
And I think Corey Dillon's still trying to figure out how he fumbled himself.
Henry trying that right side, successful again. 5 yards.
Well, you watch what the Buffalo Bills are doing coming out. Your quarterback's just thrown an interception. You want to be careful. You're backed up. His confidence cannot be very high, of course, because of the interception. So run it. What was their first key to this offense today? They wanted to be physical. They want to run the football, and they want to wear them down.
At the end of this play, the crowd really reacted. Rodney Harrison was locked up there with Tim Ewis.
And Ewis, that was a WWF move.
Travis Henry still 2 yards shy of the first. 4 minutes to go in the half.
Somebody swings and misses, but you fall down. Romeo Crennel, defensive coordinator for the Patriots. Now you look at this Patriots defense. I know it's early in the year, but they are 23rd in the league when it comes to defense in the rush game by the opposing team. Now that's lopsided because Edgerrin James ran it pretty well on them in week 1.
Mike Mularkey would love a first down here. Keep his defense off the field. 3rd and 2, and it's through the hands. Josh Reed. Ball will go back to New England. Ted Johnson and Rodney Harrison doubling up Reed.
Just big plays. Keep the drive going. Good throw by Drew Bledsoe. It's tight. Josh Reed just does not come up with the catch, and still somewhat a successful drive by the Bills because they did get off their goal line and give themselves some room and back up the Patriots.
And Tyrone Poole back to turn the punt, and Mormon drops it. Now has to take off, wide open field. Look at this mistake turn into a plus. Brian Mormon all the way to the 42 of the Patriots. "34 yards off a botched play."
Perfect snap, just drops it, but very good instincts and reactions by Mormon, and showing some pretty good speed and athletic ability once he gets out in the open field.
Patrick Pass tackles him when that ball was on the ground. Robbie Abdullah was right there in the area for New England, but Mormon reacted quicker and he took off. And now a salute to the home fans as he sets up the Bills' first down at the 41 of New England. Bledsoe going for it all right here. Moulds in the end zone. Touchdown. No, hold on. Yes, touchdown. Oh, look at this. 41 yards.
What a throw by Drew Bledsoe. When he let it go, I said there is no way. He did not look open, but you've got to trust the speed of the wide receiver.
How about that 14-point turnaround? You got the Patriots at the 2-yard line. They cough it up, and then the Bills come all the way back down the field, set up by the run by the punter, Brian Mormon. A 96-yard drive after the fumble.
There's the flag, the challenge. I was saying, Jim, I did not see if the ball hit the ground like you did, but if there was any doubt, the Bills should have been hustling out there to kick this extra point as fast as they could.
Yep. Coach Belichick says we want to take another look at that one.
New England is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a catch, touchdown.
Possession, couple steps.
Looked like a catch to my eyes.
There's a couple things. He does catch it. He makes a football move. He's down.
Well, Scott Green, he'll have to make the decision when we come back.
He has the ball and he makes a football move. In other words, he catches it, takes a couple steps.
After reviewing the play, the receiver maintained possession after his knee hit the ground. Touchdown. Timeout. England.
Well, and I was going to finish saying, Jim, if it had been caught, if he would have caught it, then fell to the ground almost immediately and not held on to it, then it would have been an incomplete pass. But still a good challenge by Bill Belichick. Anytime there's a big score, you take a chance and challenge them. Did you understand what I just said?
Absolutely, and I don't think there's any way they could have taken that away, because he did make
the catch,
football move in a couple of steps,
and his knee hit the ground.
And Moulds now has all of the touchdowns produced by the offense, the Bills, this year. 3 in 3 games. Bledsoe gets it right back after a poor pick. Beautiful strike to Moulds. Eric Moulds. Remember what Drew Bledsoe said to us the other day, Phil? He said Moulds has a little anger in him. He feels like he's overlooked when people talk about the premier receivers in the game. And what I like about him, Bledsoe said, is when he gets mad, he plays great.
He does, and he is. How's that?
He really is overlooked.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Had a poor year last year, but it was all because of injury. A groin injury, never was 100%, but he's back as good as he was in his early years. And a nice return here. Bethel Johnson out to the 40 gives New England some good room to work with here with 2.5 to play in the second quarter.
Let's look at it. Eric Moulds, and here's Eugene Wilson. Drew Bledsoe's watching Eugene Wilson. He wants to go deep. So you're the quarterback. And let's watch, stop it. But even really before that, when he saw Eugene Wilson had not turned and started running, Drew Bledsoe's just trusting the fact through practice and knowledge that he knows his wide receiver can run faster than the safety. And we've seen it a couple times today. Big plays in the passing game are coming down the NFL by attacking the safeties down the field.
From the shotgun on first down. Blitz after Brady. Across the middle and overthrows David Patton. London Fletcher was in the backfield. Patriots last 3 possessions, Phil. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and a fumble.
Good players on defense. A defense is doing a lot. Crowd noise. Well, there's everything going against you. So you just, when you're playing this kind of atmosphere on offense, you just got to be tough mentally. Just hang in there. Not take a chance until it's the right moment. When it's presented, you got to take advantage of it.
2 receivers, Patton and Givens. 2 tight ends, Graham and Spurrier. Brady, tremendous time, wide open. It's Patton, first down, 43.
When you get that much time as a quarterback, what is going to happen? The defense, they're playing defense. Everybody's in their spot, and they're looking, and they're all going, what do you do when you stand there too long? Well, the defense just disintegrates. Big gaping holes come available, and Tom Brady found it.
.210, and we approach the 2-minute warning. Brady quickly to the line to get one more snap. Middle bound, and that ball is fumble. Catch was made by Givens. Now they're going to say, wait a minute, they're going to rule him down at the 33. Nate Clements recovered it. We reached the 2-minute warning. And this one will be watched and looked at again during the break. 17-10 Buffalo. Well, the Bills have lost 5 straight going back to the last season, but they're leading here. They have issued a challenge on that last pass play, Phil, the catch by Givens and the fumble.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. It's pretty exciting here, isn't it?
It is.
The atmosphere, the game.
The game has been, we've already had a number of big plays, 4 pass plays over 40 yards, a kickoff return.
Yeah, it's something. Even though I'm old, Jim, it almost makes me want to come back and play. If they just wouldn't hit me, it'd be great. But it's just exciting to see this atmosphere so early in the year. 2 teams, come on, they don't like each other at all. In fact, I think they kind of hate each other. That's good. They've been in division. They're both trying to win the same thing, and it's all showing up on the field.
Not that old. I mean, George Blanda was playing when, when he was your age.
Yeah, but he was wearing that square shoe and kicking it.
Said the pass, the catch by Givens. Okay, now remember that happened at the right inside of 2 minutes. And 157.
I don't know what you could be challenging. There's no doubt it's a completion. You can't challenge the fumble, so there is not a challenge. Buzzer.
Oh, so now we understand. The word is they're just checking out the equipment. Again, if you just joined us, the referee, Johnny Greer, went out early in this game.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact. That is charged timeout against Buffalo.
Johnny Greer has been replaced by this man right here. Scott Green, who was the back judge, moves over to referee. And the Bills did issue a challenge. And as you say, always change of possession, something like that.
Well, yes, but listen, there cannot be a change of possession on that challenge. So once they rule down by contact, you cannot get the football regardless of what the replay show. They were just challenging the catch, and it was clear. He caught it, took about 4 steps, fell down. The football hit the ground. That's when he let go of it.
First down, play action fake, and they come after Brady, who gets it away. In the end zone, incomplete. Almost a circus catch by Patton. with McGee back there jockeying for position. London Fletcher again came running after the quarterback.
Blitz by the Bills. London Fletcher comes all the way around and gets another solid hit on Tom Brady and Terrence McGee. When you throw it high and far, I think it's so hard for defensive backs. They're not used to seeing it. They're trying to adjust to knock the football down, and the receiver is usually being aggressive and going towards it. So good job by McGee.
Corey Dillon, his first handoff since the fumble. 1:45. Ball at the 30. Third down coming up.
Well, they're absolutely in field goal range. Downwind.
Timeout called by the Bills.
And an excellent job by Mike Mularkey. Use your timeout to the end. Give yourself one more possession if possible. Don't let the opposing team run the clock out on you.
You can get complete recap. Over 100 yards in the first half of the game down at Houston and 2 touchdowns. Didn't hear anybody talking about him during the week. Looking like the featured back today is the Raiders, and the Texans are tied at 17. We'll have all the scores and highlights coming up shortly. Greg and company. Third down.
Jim, let me go back to the excellent job by Mike Mularkey managing the game. You got those timeouts. You know it's third down. You stop them. Give your offense one more chance with the football, and maybe your return team, which has already rewarded you with 7 points today.
Brady. Man wide open at the 10. It's Patton. One move to the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown, New England. Just left alone at the 10-yard line. David Patton scores on a 30-yard hookup with Tom Brady.
Buffalo is sending the guys. He's in motion. What happens to Terrence McGee? He goes across the field. Oh, he has to fight through some traffic. His own players, the opposing wide receivers coming across. Tom Brady finds a wide open David Patton.
David Patton has a 100-yard performance in the first half. Brady's over 200 before halftime, and Vinatieri ties it at 17. David Patton's second touchdown of the season comes on a 30-yard pass play to tie it right before the half.
Well, when you are blitzing, which the Buffalo Bills are doing, and the offense starts crossing their wide receivers, David Patton, Terrence McGee, you'll see the blitz. Watch the receivers from up top. Some of them are going to come across the inside. Oh, he has to go around his own defender and the receiver for the Patriots. When you do that, too much space, and an easy touchdown for the New England Patriots. But Terrence McGee probably didn't get many snaps out there this week. Troy Vincent, the starter, hurt on the first drive. He is out.
McGee's been in on a lot of plays, good and bad, in this half.
I'll tell you what, the Patriots are guessing right. Just keep guessing that the Bills are going to blitz, protect the quarterback, and then, like I've said a couple times, throw it down the field.
See what they do as far as the kick here. The last time Vinatieri had the pigskin on the prong, he booted away to McGee, and he took it 98 yards. Kick it away from him this time. That's all McGee. The pressure of kicking to McGee, the presence of him back there out of bounds, and they'll bring it out to the 40.
Kickoff out of bounds. Ball be placed at the 40-yard line.
Coming up, the Nextel halftime report with Greg and Dan. Shannon and Boomer. All the scores and highlights.
Yeah, they were taking a few shots at me today, weren't they?
Yeah, we did pick up on that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes I notice you'd like to be able to kind of like activate one of these cameras and microphones and jump right in there from the booth.
No, they do a great job. A lot of fun listening to them today.
Yeah, they were having some real fun out there. All right, 128 for Bledsoe to work with.
Greg Gumbel was doing target shooting, just shooting at them, and I don't know, no enemy fire was coming back.
Josh Reed will come to the near side. He has not caught a ball in this half. 4 receiver formation.
Look at the defense. Look at everybody standing up for the Patriots, trying to confuse the blocking schemes.
Only one down lineman. That was Seymour. And pass to the sideline. Poole converges quickly on Moulds. Only a 2-yard gain. It'll use up a lot of clock. But they've got the ball in a dangerous area here at the 43. They can do a lot with this. Bledsoe's pass should have been caught. The usually reliable Moulds at the 50. So you start to wonder about Lindell and the target line. Career long is 54 yards. Target line would be right around the 36. But it probably would even be a little longer than that. That would be kicking in. They're going into the wind right now. Only need to get to about the 30. 3rd and 8. Great protection. Bledsoe's rifle pass incomplete for Bobby Shaw.
Well, everybody was looking for some defensive holding. Remember, after you go down the field 5 yards as a wide receiver, you're basically going to have no contact with them, and there was a little contact by the Patriots secondary.
Now we'll check out the return game for the Patriots. And a whistle and a flag thrown.
Yeah, that flag came from the sideline. The line judge, Jeff Bergman.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 80 of the offense. 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Come on.
Just set up the Patriots now to get 15 yards closer.
Let it go.
With their series and plenty of time to work with.
You know, and what I say is, Eric Moulds is upset. Thought he dropped the pass, thought he was interfered with, and I'm sure he was saying some stuff you probably shouldn't have said on the sideline, but I just think a lot of times you just gotta not listen.
Mormon booting into a moderate breeze. And the wind certainly affects this. There is a flag back there in the return area. Not a very long kick. Looks like it went out of bounds near the 45, and we'll wait for the call. They've had 3 personal foul penalties against Buffalo in this half.
Face mask, 42 on the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Called against Dexter Reed. With that being only a 29-yard punt, Mormon will deliver again. Belichick disenchanted with his return game. The first 2 performances of the season, says we haven't done anything with that so far. They've got Tyrone Poole as the returner. Had been Troy Brown early in the season. You might remember Brown got injured in preseason game number 3 on a punt return down at Carolina, injured a knee. Still not quite 100%. This again a low kick, ugly but generous.
And time consuming.
Yes, indeed. Settles all the way down at the 22.
And another flag. 2 of the players looked at each other the wrong way.
Buffalo players are applauding.
Personal foul, receiving team, number 48. Penalty being to be penalized from the end of the kick. First down.
Kane called for that. So that'll back up the Patriots inside the 20. What a wild half. A good half of football it's been, although penalty marred. Kick return for a touchdown, the 5th longest in Buffalo history by Terrence McGee, 98 yards. Brady hooking up on a 30-yard touchdown to David Patton. Their other touchdown coming from Corey Dillon. 15-yard burst. Buffalo getting the long hookup from Bledsoe to Eric Moulds. Instead of getting the football back at their own 43 or up ahead at the 43, because of those penalties, New England starts at the 11 and they say, we'll just let it rest. We'll take the break. We'll go in tied at 17. Got the Nextel halftime report coming up with Greg, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer. And before we go there, let's send it down to Seth Davis.
Standing here with Mike Mularkey. Coach, you had a couple of breakdowns in your defensive secondary here. How can you avoid those happening in the second half without your veteran back there, Troy Vincent?
Well, that's what we got to do here at halftime. That's you got to make some adjustments, make sure man coverage, and we leave guys uncovered. That's unacceptable. So we got to cover it right now.
I know you wanted you guys hyped up and intense for this game, but you had 3 personal foul penalties in the first half. Will you try to settle them down a little bit in the halftime locker room?
Actually, I think they've done a good job, because there's been a number of times that we felt like we have backed off from things after the play, and you know, I think they've done about as well as they can.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Let's go back to Jim and Phil.
Thank you, Seth. The rookie head coach heads to the locker room again, looking for his first win as the new man here in Buffalo. And at halftime, the score is New England 17, Buffalo 17. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Time report. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel, done.
Hi, everyone. Welcome once again to the Nextel halftime report here in our studios in New York. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason at halftime. It's a 17-17 tie. Pretty entertaining game, Boomer.
Oh, what a game we have here. A lot of mistakes, but a lot of big plays, including this one right here. Drew Bledsoe looking like he did when he was in the other uniform of the New England Patriots. 41-yard touchdown pass to Eric Moulds. It was replayed and upheld for the touchdown. And then the guy that Shannon eliminated early on in the pregame show about leading your team to a Super Bowl in the last drive, David Patton is hit by Tom Brady, and I'm telling you, Tom Brady is cool. I mean, he is cool, man. 11 for 19, over 200 yards passing. And this has the makings of an exciting finish as you take a look at these stats right here. 214 yards, 1 touchdown for Brady as he outplays Drew Bledsoe, who did throw a bad interception, by the way, and Corey Dillon had obviously a bad fumble.
All right. Meanwhile, you're right. This game doesn't show any signs.
But you wouldn't eliminate Tom Brady like Shannon did, would you?
If he's up there next week, I'm going to eliminate him again.
You don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Shannon. Indianapolis at Jacksonville.
And here's Peyton Manning. Tells Marvin to go 15 yards and break to the post, and I'll find you just like clockwork.
It's that easy, huh?
It's real easy for these two guys. And here's Fred Taylor. It's real cold in Jacksonville this time of year because he's tossing the football up. Indy recovered. And here's Scobie kicking the ball way into the stands, but it was a little outside, which made it no good.
And right now, the Colts with a 10-6 lead. They're already 6:50 into the third quarter. Take a look at the numbers, and Byron Leftwich holding his own in this quarterback battle against Peyton Manning. But 2 field goals is all he's been able to put on the board. It's a 10-6 Colts lead. Dan, Oakland and Houston entertaining the fans.
And Kerry Collins making his first start for the Oakland Raiders. Drops back. Jamie Sharper comes clean. Ball was knocked out of his hands. Beautiful bounce right back into Jamie Sharper's hands for a touchdown. They replay it, and yes, it is upheld right here because you see Kerry Collins' arm wasn't going forward, and that's a touchdown for Houston. Then famous Amos Zereoué, who's having a big day, goes 55 yards right here. He bounces outside. Look at the hustle by the Oakland.
Carry the cookies, Amos. Carry the cookies.
The linemen are downfield blocking down, knocking down defensive backs. He fell down, and then Jonathan Wells goes in for a touchdown from 1 yard for Houston. And famous Amos once again going in for 3 yards for a touchdown. He's over 100 yards in the first half.
Raiders trying to win one on the road for a change. It's a 17-17 tie. Look at Zero A's numbers, 104 yards.
He's toting the cookie.
He has a career best, 123. So he's closing in on that. Boomer, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
How about this? There's a Delta O'Neal sighting for the Cincinnati Bengals. He rips the ball right out of Deuce Staley's arms. And Caleb Miller, the rookie, in for injured Nate Webster, recovers the fumble. Then first and goal from the Pittsburgh 2. Carson Palmer, nice play action fake to Jeremy Johnson, 2 yards for a touchdown.
14.
How about the Bengals? Going against the bus from the 2-yard line. You know, they don't even hand him the ball out in the main field. They just give it to him down on the goal line. Touchdown, game tied at 7. Then Ben Roethlisberger, not looking like a rookie, connects with Veron Hayes for an 11-yard touchdown pass. And the Steelers are leading 14-10. And Ben Roethlisberger, as I was saying, looking very comfortable in the pocket. 11 for 17, 132 yards, and that touchdown.
Numbers bear that out. It's a 14-10 lead for the Steelers. Washington and Cleveland. Redskins had a halftime lead of a touchdown, but Clinton Portis fumbled. Browns took it in for a touchdown. It's tied up at 10. There are Portis's numbers. He has scored a touchdown, but also a costly fumble as well. At Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears trailed the Eagles 16-3. NFC's leading rusher, Thomas Jones, just 18 yards in the first half. Terrell Owens has caught a touchdown pass. Donovan McNabb with some pretty good numbers, 19-24 for 192 and a TD. And the Giants and the Packers are tied at 7 each. Tiki Barber went 52 yards for a touchdown for the New York score. Brett Favre left the game with a little whiplash, came back, threw a touchdown pass, and he is now out of the game with that same problem. It is a 7-7 tie. We remind you, it's a doubleheader day here on CBS. Here are our second games. You'll see the Broncos and the Bucks, the Jets and the Miami Dolphins, Titans and the Chargers. Incidentally, in that Tennessee-San Diego game, Billy Bullock will start at quarterback for San Diego. Steve McNair has been listed as the third quarterback for today's action. Thanks for watching the Nextel Halftime Report. Back to the game for the second half after this.
Every game.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel helps groups get things done. Nextel.
New England and Buffalo tied at 17 with the Patriots 17-game win streak on the line. Bills have a streak they'd like to end as well. Not only would they like to end the New England streak, but the losing one of their own, which goes back to last season, 5 in a row. An inspired first half performance by Malarkey's crew was tied. We'll have the second half in a moment. First half with plenty of highlights. Jim Nance and Bill Sims, Seth Davis with us as well. What are you looking for in this half?
Wow. Well, if it's the same way, it'd be great. But I'm looking for maybe the Buffalo defense not to gamble so much in blitz, because the Patriots hit those big pass plays down the field. And on the other side, the Patriots said, we know Buffalo is going to throw it deep. Well, if they knew it, they're still getting by them. So they might back up a little more themselves.
Okay, Phil, let's take a look at the numbers from the first half. Anything stand out to you here?
Well, just the yards, the total yards by both teams. I thought these were two of the better defenses in the NFL coming into the game. They should be, but both offenses have found ways to get the big plays.
First possession of this half will belong to Buffalo. Vinatieri kicks it away to McGee. Here's the run back. First time he's touched it since the 98-yard return, and it's another beauty. Vinatieri in on the hit after a 34-yard run back across the 40. Let's take a look at the fantasy notebook from the first half. Brady, 214 and a touch. Bledsoe, 134, and the long hookup for the score with Moulds. Dillon held to 29 yards, but 15-yard touchdown, more than half of his total on one carry. Lee Evans with 3 catches for 79. Moulds, 55 and a score, but David Patton, 101 yards and a 30-yard touchdown of his own.
A lot of good numbers in the first half by offensive players from both sides. Kind of surprising.
Taking a little time here, extra time, before they set the play clock, because Patrick Pass is hobbling off the field. There he is. All right, we're back in Orchard Park, ready to go. Drew Bledsoe hoping to engineer his Bills to a first win of the season from the 41-yard line. And that's Henry spinning around for only a yard.
You know, Jim, I told you about maybe Buffalo's defense might back off this a little bit. It'd be interesting to see if the same holds true for the Patriots. Rodney Harrison, that's kind of what I look at, how you judge what the Patriots are doing on defense. Is he near the line of scrimmage? If he's there a lot, that means they're being aggressive. If he's back, they're being conservative and worried about the big plays.
Henry, good piece of running, finally ridden down by Ted Johnson well after the first. Lawrence Smith helped clear the way for 11.
And really, it's just as simple when you look at defenses. Here's Rodney Harrison. Here's the other safety Eugene Wilson. They're back. That means you can block everybody up front, and look at the space that Travis Henry finds, because the defense is back, really playing pass, and that's when you want to run the football. This time, oh, he faked me. He was up, but he moved deep.
They step back, and they go with the running play again, left side. And Henry working hard for a short gain. 3 yards total with that effort.
And, you know, so much you hear all of it all the time, Jim. The Bills have thrown the football well enough to make the Patriots defense play safe. And what was the Bills' #1 criteria? They want to be physical. They want to run the football. Well, the defense is playing safe. It gives you the chance to finally establish what you want to do.
Averaging over 6 yards per carry. Well above their figures the first 2 games. Josh Reed on the end around. Bledsoe out there looking to hit somebody. And Vrabel finally forces him out about a yard shy of the first. 6-yard run by Josh Reed.
Well, good job by New England's defense. They do not over pursue, so they don't get caught by the reverse action by the Buffalo Bills. Drew Bledsoe looking for somebody to hit. Nobody there. Josh Reed actually does a good job of picking up some extra yards.
3rd and less than a yard here. See what Romeo's defense can come up with. Shelton got the first. And a flag thrown. Scott Green goes over to hear the word, and it's going against the Bills. Johnny Greer, by the way, we hear a torn muscle in the lower leg, and he will not return today. The referee. It's called against Lawrence Smith. If I have my lip reading down.
Forgot to turn his mic on because I wanted to see who he was calling it on. It has to be either against the center or one of the guards. And Jim, you say it's Lawrence Smith, so you could read his lips, huh?
Almost certain.
That's
quite a talent, huh?
Well, it's a good talent, but it's a huge play against the Buffalo Bills offense.
It is indeed, as it sets up now 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. Takes the first off the board, flags everywhere, and Vrabel, remember they are pals. Maybe Jonas Jennings doesn't know that. He says, hey, you go back over on your side.
Pretty funny, the reaction about Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, it is.
False start. Number 82 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Remember, they had the first down on the Shelton carry that gets taken away. And now they're backed up into their own territory.
Well, here's what happens. Blitzing is all about surprise and timing. And it looks like they're going to play a defense, and there's no big deal. They're going to give you a chance to throw it. And then Rodney Harrison, just as Drew Bledsoe was going to call the snap count, came flying up the line of scrimmage. Perfect timing, made the Bills get a little jumpy, and they got the penalty.
And yet another flag. Been quite a day.
Ball start. Offense. Number 84. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
False starts and personal fouls, and we knew it on that opening drive of the game by the Patriots. Just a harbinger of more flags to come.
Well, this is one of those situations. Take your medicine and punt the football. Drew Bledsoe said third and really long. I'm going to be really quick with the football and try to throw it short so I don't get sacked.
So they run it, and it's Henry bouncing around, and he gets the whammy from Teddy Bruschi.
And the fans boo because what else do you do? Third and long. Come on, throw it long. Hold the ball. Get sacked. Fumble. But Teddy Bruschi in the middle of the pack, he is so good. He knows the situation and probably was thinking it's either going to be a screen, draw, or something where they're just trying to give themselves better field position.
Tyrone Poole waits for the Mormon boot. And Poole, he touched it, and it went out of bounds. Boy, that thing was perilously close to staying back in the field of play after it grazed his fingertips. Tom Brady comes back on the field. He's having quite a day. We are back on a beautiful day in Orchard Park outside of Buffalo. And remember, the Patriots trying to tie those teams you look at right there with 18 wins in a row, including playoffs. Warren for yet more history as Dillon gets stopped at the 1-yard line. Loss of 2. Pat Williams in on the hit. You know, one thing about that record, we touched on it earlier, Phil, it's not really recognized officially by the NFL. In the NFL record book, it only they separate regular season and postseason. And in that record book, you would find the Chicago Bears back in the 30s of Papa George Halas with 17 straight wins is the longest one recognized by the NFL record book.
So what's that other one we keep talking about?
It's kind of a media creation.
Oh,
it's a true number, but it's not really regarded in any book by the NFL as an official record. There's Brady, middle, Graham out to the 34. .32 yards to Daniel Graham.
Tom Brady, I'm sorry, Jim, but just so calm in the pocket in the end zone. And again, pressure by the Bills. Wait for it down the field. Daniel Graham all the way across the field. Showing, as we talked about, that he has the ability to go down and make big pass plays.
That's the 4th completion of the day for Brady of over 30 yards. Comes out with 3 receivers at the 34. It's Dillon running free, and inside the 50 down to the 46. Daniel Graham makes the catch and then makes the block for 19 yards for his teammate.
Well, you want to run the football against this Bills defense. Why go inside where probably the 3 best defensive players are? Go outside where you have a better chance of matching up. And Corey Dillon, good block against London Fletcher that time. One of the few times today Corey Dillon has really seen some open space.
Really only that one and the touchdown run on the opening drive of the game. That was 19 yards for Dillon. His longest carry. Quick pass over to Patton. And Terrence McGee on the hit. You think about Corey Dillon, never been in a playoff game. All-time rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals. Over 8,000 yards as a Bengal. And 46 touchdowns with 6,000-yard seasons. Here you go, the players with the most career rushing yards without playing in the playoffs, and it's Dillon 1 with Floyd Little 2nd. No relation.
Oh, okay.
Late Jim Nance of the Patriots. And there's a run down to the 34-yard line. Let's go back to the studio. Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim. Jacksonville's Jaguars, 28 points allowed all season long until today. Peyton Manning has put 17 on the board. His second TD pass of the day to Marcus Pollard, 16 yards. The Colts with a 17-6 lead on the Jaguars. Now going to the fourth quarter, guys.
All right, thank you, Greg. Next week, the Colts will play host to the Oakland Raiders. That's 1 to Pollard, 1 to Harrison for Peyton Manning. Trying to give the Jags their first loss. This play is whistled dead.
False start, 82 offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Great. NFL.com has its interactive fan poll. Your team needs to go 80 yards, Phil, in 2 minutes for the win. Which quarterback do you want leading your team? Brady or Culpepper, Favre or Manning, McNabb, McNair, or Vick? You can cast your vote at NFL.com. It's a good question.
Yeah, it is. You know, look, how do you pick one of those? Manning, McNabb, Culpepper. How about that? You're wrong no matter what you say.
This guy's pretty hard to beat right here. Tom Brady with pressure, fires, and really Givens tried to break up an interception. Nate Clements wanted a pass interference call against the Patriots. It's update time yet again. Back to you, Greg.
Jim, those Cincinnati Bengals being pretty stubborn at Pittsburgh. Rudy Johnson from 2 yards out, and the Bengals leapfrog back on top in this game. It's 17-14 Cincinnati, coming up on 3.5 to play in the third, guys.
Rudy Johnson, thank you, Greg. What a second effort there by Rudy Johnson as the Bengals really find themselves in a big situation here today. Divisional game, 1-2 on the season. Coming back to take the lead. Third down here. 3rd and 13 from the 39.
Another blitz.
Brady steps up. Pass incomplete. He was looking for Bethel Johnson. And Terrence McGee this time was right where he had to be.
Well, if you keep pressuring the quarterback, which the Bills are doing, you're just saying the corners that they can do the job on the outside. Excellent job by McGee, seeing the route, making a decision, and breaking on the football.
Josh Miller looking for the pooch punt. Takes a little off of this one. Bethel Johnson is right where he needed to be as well. And boy, he got very close to stepping on that line, but they give it to him at the 2. Don Davis finally downed it. Can the Bills put together a drive without any penalties? We remain tied, third quarter. We are back with the Bills pinned at their own 2-yard line. But remember, they had a 96-yard drive late in the second quarter with a touchdown result to Eric Moulds. What will they do this time? Their last series, they had all those penalties that took away a first down in New England territory. Bledsoe's numbers, 134 yards on only 6 completions. He has had, well, he's failed to have a 200-yard passing game in his last 6 games. It's back to Evans for the first down, 17-yard line. Gain of 14, working on Ty Law and Ted Johnson. Since the start of the 2003 season, only Arizona has scored fewer points than the Buffalo Bills. They put up 10 in game 1, 13-10 loss, heartstopper, heartbreaker, lost to Jacksonville, and then again 13-10 setback to Oakland. Travis Henry working past Seymour and up to and awaiting Teddy Bruschi at the 20. Tonight on CBS, the hit drama Cold Case is back with a season premiere you won't forget. Don't miss it tonight at 8, 7 Central here on CBS, America's most watched network. What would you say overall about the Buffalo attack here today that's been so scrutinized, criticized?
I like it. I like what I see. I actually liked a lot what I was watching when I saw the first 2 games on film. You can see the explosion. Evans getting involved. The running game should be solid. 2 quality running backs.
I'll start. Number 75, the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
We've talked about it, the two of us, a number of times. Their 0-2 start that could have so easily been 2-0. Last play of the game, Leftwich to Ernest Wilford to beat him. And then this was not ruled a touchdown in a 13-10 loss at Oakland, even though it looked like Henry clearly had broken the plane. 2nd and 11. Pressure. Bledsoe away to Moulds for a gain of about 1. We've got a player down. It's a Buffalo lineman. It's Jonas Jennings,
left tackle.
And with the medical staff coming onto the field, we'll take a timeout here in Buffalo.
Watch Jonas Jennings as he's sitting on the ground. The bottom of your screen, the replay. He's getting ready to come in, and he bumps helmets with Vince Wilfork. I'm not sure what was hurting, but when you get hit in the face sometimes like that, it can stun you. And he does look a little woozy.
Big man knocked silly there for a moment, but looks like he's going to shake this one off. And now the key is who will replace him on that left side, working against Richard Seymour. Looks like going to move Marcus Price in over on that left side. 7-year player from LSU. Been with the Bills since 2002. It's 3rd down. He walks right into a 3rd and 5. Bledsoe tries the right side, and a flag is going to be thrown against Ty Law. Moulds was the target.
Illegal contact. Number 24 of the defense. 5-yard penalty. Also automatic first down.
Only 2 Bills players have caught passes today. That would be Evans and right here Eric Moulds.
When they catch them, though, they're being big plays, but Ty Law reaches his hands out full just a little bit. He's looking in the backfield. You saw Ty Law. He likes to look in the backfield, figure out when to make the break, and Drew Bledsoe, they were expecting blitz. They kept both backs in, had time to throw it down the field.
Got it away just before Roosevelt Colvin was draped over him. Travis Henry trying to motor his way. He does across the 32. Ed Johnson tackles him after 6, and we remind you next. Yes.
Well, you talk about this Bills offense, Jim. You can already see after that week off, they've corrected a lot of mistakes. Defenders are not running free. Drew Bledsoe is getting the football out of his hand.
And Travis Henry runs it backpedaling style for the first down. He is over 80 yards on the game now, Phil. With that carry is Travis Henry, and that's his highest total in the 3 games.
You know, I don't expect people to really understand this because we all look at the field and we want to see results quickly, I should say. But when you want to run the football, like the Bills, they want to be a running football team. There's going to be a lot of ugly moments in games. And a lot of times, unless you have big plays that go for scores, you're going to play in some low-scoring games, too.
They shift Shelton back into the backfield. They're going to run with Henry. Henry is looking like it's a 100-yard day on the way here shortly.
Well, that's
another 4.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you so quick. I get excited sometimes when I see it on the field, but that's what they talked about. Mushing this defense, staying with the running game. And Drew Bledsoe, I believe Mike Mularkey's offense fits him perfectly. Run the football, and then when you do throw it, everybody says it all the time, and even Drew Bledsoe admits it. He's a gunslinger. He wants to rip it down the field.
It's 2nd and 6 to work with from the 43. Up high and incomplete, looking for Neufeld. And Rodney Harrison let him know that he was in his neighborhood.
Timing was no good between the receiver and Drew Bledsoe. Made Bledsoe throw it high, and Rodney Harrison coming from the opposite side. Doesn't worry about a receiver on his end. Comes across and makes a tough hit in the back.
That'll knock the wind out of you. So another Bill getting some attention. Bill's trying to put together a drive. We are back here in Western New York. What has been a beautiful weekend. And Ryan Neufeld now trying to shake off the effects of a Rodney Harrison hit. Oh, has the head snapping back.
This is just one of those plays that you say, what's wrong? It's just overall body ache, because extending himself for the football, can't protect, and Rodney Harrison taking advantage of it from the backside.
3rd down and 5. They still have big Marcus Price at left tackle. Jennings banged up earlier on this series. They picked up already 4 first downs on this drive that started back at the 2, and no chance for Bledsoe. Sacked for the 2nd time, and it's Rodney Harrison in on the sack.
Excellent blitz by the New England Patriots. The Bills even have 2 backs in the backfield ready for it. Here comes a blitzer. Blitzer from the outside, 1 from this side. Too many guys. Can't account for them all. And Drew Bledsoe, good job. Protect the football and take the sack.
It was really Roman Pfeiffer who got to the quarterback. Harrison there at the end. And back they come with Mormon. And this is a beauty. And it bounces into the end zone. 63 yards downwind. 20 of it coming back, though, as Brady and company are ready to operate. Network, CBS. No scoring here in this half after a wild opening 2 quarters, and Brady play action all kinds of time and over the head of David Givens. In the Sims spotlight, check out some of the big plays we've seen in this game for touchdowns.
Well, we talked about it. When you want a big play now in the passing game, work on the safety. That's what the Buffalo Bills have done, and what a throw and catch by Drew Bledsoe. The Patriots doing it a different way, picking up blitzes and throwing across the field, which are very hard for defensive backs to cover because so much space, and it's going so fast they can't catch up to the wide receivers.
2nd down and 10. See Fletcher, 59 of the Bills, threatening the blitz. Now he backs off on this running play and comes over to make the hit on Corey Dillon after a 5-yard gain. Spike's also in on the play. How would you rate the quarterback's performance? Bledsoe and Brady head to head.
Oh, give them both an A. You know, I think they're both playing very well. And yeah, Drew Bledsoe did throw 1 bad interception, but he has made 2 throws in this game that you understand why he's thrown for over 37,000 yards and why teams keep him around. You're excited about him being your quarterback.
Crowd cranks it up here, 3rd and 5. And here come the Bills on the blitz. Brady's pass away, and the catch is made. David Givens for 11 yards and a first down.
London Fletcher on the hit again on Tom Brady. But Tom Brady, this is maybe the best throw of the game. When he lets it go, you cannot even see where the receiver is. He feels the pressure. He anticipates nobody to the outside and throws it nice and soft. And David Givens goes down and make the catch. Under pressure, anticipation, everything Tom Brady's about.
270 yards. He has not been sacked. And he gets another one away cleanly and caught. That's Givens. 2 straight plays. This one for 18 yards.
Was that any good? Was that a good throw?
Wow.
Wow. That's what you say.
That's all you can say.
Just throw it to the open spot across, just away from Takeo Spikes, the linebacker.
It's a pretty good catch, too.
Oh, excellent catch. David Givens really came on late last year. Terrific in the Super Bowl. Big and fast. 6 foot tall, but as a receiver, he looks taller than that, and he's aggressive going up for the football, too.
He has 87 yards receiving. Patton's already over 100, and look at Corey Dillon. And that's another chain mover right there for 11 yards. Givens was in on that block as the quarter ends. Patriots putting together a fine drive right here. 17 all heading to the fourth. We'll return. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Streak continue, and for the Bills, will their streak continue, which they're trying to end? 5 straight losses. They open the fourth quarter with New England operating from the Buffalo 34. It's Dillon. A short pickup running into Thomas, who made a nice special teams play, downing a ball in the first half down at the 1-yard line. A gain of 6. It has been, Phil, 371 days since New England last lost. Over a year. And the last coach to beat New England, Steve Spurrier.
I was there. I remember the day very clearly.
The 2 losses last year by the Patriots to the Bills and the Redskins, both teams that ended up with losing records. We continue the drive here with Dillon shaking 1 tackle, gets the first down, steps out at the 23. He's getting stronger here in the second half. It's so often been the case in his career. You were there, Phil. It was September 28th. Rock Cartwright goes in from 3 yards out. Ronaldo Wynn had a sack on Brady. He got picked 3 times in the game. But ever since that time, again, over a year and a week, 17 straight wins without a loss.
If you saw Tom Brady there, had a big sleeve on his right arm. That was the low point, I thought, of him physically during last season.
Pass is in the backfield as Dillon goes to the sideline. Patrick Pass running hard to the 17. This is some impressive drive, and let's go back to the studio and Greg in New York.
All right, guys, we'll go to Jacksonville. How about Jack Del Rio? 4th and 1. Leftwich comes up throwing. Jimmy Smith, 40-yard touchdown catch. They'll go for 2. Brian Jones bobbles and holds in the end zone. 17-17. Under 7 minutes to play in Jacksonville, guys.
This is just an incredible start to the season for a charmed Jacksonville squad. They know all about him here in Buffalo. If they took the first game away from the Bills on the last play. Pass. Moving the pile, working hard, a yard shy of the first. 3rd and 1 on the way. 2 minutes into the final quarter. It's been a scoreless second half. You said at the start something that Belichick said to us yesterday. We must match their intensity level, knowing the crowd and everything they get here. Do you think the Patriots have done that today?
Oh, without a doubt. They learned their lesson last year. A lot of those players on that sideline were here when that 31-0 defeat came against them, and they came out. They answered that intensity right away by scoring a touchdown, Jim.
On 3rd and 1 to fake to Dillon, and Brady throws it away in the area of Spurrier. Again, it was London Fletcher spending some time in the area of Tom Brady.
London Fletcher, besides the 2 penalties, which were big, but his timing and the way he hustles, coming after Tom Brady one more time.
It's like Jerry Gray, the defensive coordinator, says Fletcher is the temperature of this defense.
Well, then it's hot.
It is hot, but now they wait as Vinatieri tries from 31 yards to give the Patriots the lead. Kick is good, but there is a flag.
Oh, boy, another big penalty against the Bills.
Offside. Defense. Number 27.
Wow, that's good for a first down. Take the points off the board.
You really got to know the game, the situations, what's at stake.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's the 10th penalty of the day against the Bills. And 1st and goal to go now for the Patriots.
And a lot of those have been keep the drive moving, have led the scores by the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick came into this game saying to us, nobody gets penalized in the NFL more than us. But today, the Buffalo Bills, a lot of bad, untimely penalties.
Deepest penetration of the half for either side, and Dillon is running free and still trying to break away. He may have lost the football at the end, but they whistle him down. He is down. Remember, he fumbled down there at that very end in the first half that then turned right around into a 14-point swing, with the Bills taking it to 96 yards in a couple of plays. Well, more than a couple, but the big run by the punter on a bobbled play, botch play.
Well, the Nate Clements wants the Buffalo Bills to challenge this, but it sounds like the play was blown dead. So there's nothing to gain by challenging it.
Well, they have, in fact, come over to talk to Mike Mularkey.
But I heard whistles.
I did too.
And they could be informing. Let's see if they're saying, look, it was blown dead. There's nothing you can gain by challenging it if the play was blown dead.
Well, it's been a busy day for Scott Green.
This is not a challengeable play. He was down by contact.
Once there's a whistle, there's nothing you can do about it. Play is over.
Unfortunate for the Buffalo Bills. You said it, Jim. Corey Dillon is not down. Knees never hit on top of the defender. The football comes out, and the Buffalo Bills come out of the pile with it.
So it's 2nd and goal to go. Flecko is in here on offense. He's eligible. Take to Dillon. Brady caught. Graham, touchdown, New England. '75th career touchdown pass for Tom Brady, and Daniel Graham has scored now in all 3 games for the Patriots, including 2 in the Arizona. This one for the lead here in Buffalo.
Well, you talk about it. Penalties on 3rd or 4th down, where you keep the opposing team's drive going. The percentages are very high that they take it in and get some type of score.
So the penalty again, disastrous for Buffalo, gives New England the 1st and goal. Brady hooks up with Graham. Quite a popular combo. San Diego, Billy Bolak to go for the Titans. This one on the ground quickly. Short boot comes up to Shelton, and they'll start out at the 40-yard line. 41. Bledsoe must rally the Bills as Graham has given New England the lead. Spikes and the Bills defense, one of the vocal leaders for that side, trying to keep everybody in the game here after giving up a touchdown on a Brady engineered drive that ends with a touchdown pass to Daniel Graham. Sam Aiken and Lee Evans are in. There's Aiken, who's seen little action today. 4th receiver. Travis Henry running right into Bruschi. Still 11 minutes to play in this game with the Bills 0-2. And you can start to feel a little desperation. You know?
You feel the tension from the crowd, but the team, they can't panic. Still plenty of time. You're going to get the football 2 more times, maybe 3 in this football game. You got good field position. Don't lose it.
Drew over to Moulds, but it's just a short gain. It'll set up 3rd and about 4. We have another update. Let's go back to Greg.
Jim, Indy unfazed by that touchdown and 2-point conversion. They come right back. Edgerrin James from 3 yards out. Nice blocking up front. Finds the hole to the end zone. 3 yards and a touchdown, 24-17. Indy under 3 minutes to play in Jacksonville.
Thank you, Greg. This is when Jacksonville wins games, though. When you get to this point, Edgerrin, they know all about him at New England. He rushed for 142 yards on this Patriots defense in the season opener that New England was fortunate to win by many accounts. And there's Bledsoe over the head of his intended receiver.
I'll tell you, that is almost identical to the interception that Drew Bledsoe threw earlier in the game. Now he's going to talk to Eric Moulds, so there is definitely some miscommunication. He's looking for him up the field. He breaks in, and Eric Moulds lets his head go down in a little bit of disgust.
It is almost identical, the same route.
His same play.
Well, here's the book on Mormon. He ran for a first down, and he's hunting well as he's been called on a number of times. And look at this, just a yard away from doing what he wanted it to do. That'll bring the Patriots out to the 20. They have the lead by 7. Work. Patriots begin this series at their own 20 after a beautiful drive that resulted in a touchdown throw to Daniel Graham. The last time they had it, no gain here for Corey Dillon. You saw Jacksonville falling behind the Colts, the Jags, and the Patriots, 2 of the 6 undefeated teams going into the week. Seattle's on a bye. Philadelphia 10 up on Chicago with 2 minutes to play. Atlanta plays at Carolina, and the Jets at Miami. Some of you will see that game in our doubleheader window coming up here on CBS.
Tom Brady taking his time, changing the play. He knows it's a blitz. Buffalo not even disguising it.
It's Dillon falling backwards for 3. 3rd and 7.
The difference between college and the NFL, in college, when a hole opens up, it stays there for a while to your right, watching the pros. Boy, opportunities do not last long in this league.
Pearson Frelo closed in on him quickly. Adams to the sideline. And this building is shaking. 3rd down and 7. They know their defense must come up with a play right here. They bring everybody. Brady finds an open man. No, it's incomplete. Well, they call it complete. Hold on, it's Fletcher with the football. Fletcher driving toward the end zone, and he loses control of it through the back of the end zone. They're calling it now a touchback. Wow, we got to go back and see if that was even a catch originally.
Buffalo might have to challenge this to see if it was incomplete.
The ball was fumbled through the end zone. That is the touchback. First down.
If the ball was incomplete, Jim, then it would be 4th down. That's what Buffalo would want in a scenario like this. Blitz, tremendous pickup. Tom Brady throws it down the field. London, Fletcher, he's always around the football. Tries to protect it.
Bethel Johnson and Stephen Neal doubled up on Fletcher. Now go back and look. Did Gibbons make the catch?
Catches it.
Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Did he get both feet on the ground?
And Johnson, watch Neal come over. And when Neal really hit him with the shoulder, the ball popped out.
Boy, tremendous hustle by Neal.
Bethel Johnson may have been hit by his own player. And when you're colliding with London Fletcher and Stephen Neal, yeah, he got hit by his own player, Neal, on the left shoulder of Bethel Johnson. But what a key point in this game. If this was in fact a catch and a fumble recovery,
it's a challenge by Buffalo, Jim.
London Fletcher, though, had he just fallen down at the 2, they would have been just right at the doorstep of going in to tie this game.
Kevin Thomas knocked the football out, I thought, pretty quickly. I'm not sure the receiver got both feet on the ground and had it long enough for it to be ruled a completion.
Well, you think Scott Green has had a busy day? He might want to go back to back judging.
Let's remember, it was ruled a completion. 1 foot. 2 feet. He does get 2 feet, but remember, to make it a completion, you've got to take it to the ground. He didn't have time to make a football move, so you have to take the ball to the ground.
That's Kevin Thomas stripping it.
It's gonna, I think it's gonna be incomplete. You have to finish the process, and he did not.
Bethel Johnson is finally on his feet on the far sideline.
After reviewing the play, the pass was incomplete. It is 4th down. Please reset the game clock to 8:11.
What a relief to London Fletcher that that was not a fumble and a touchback.
It almost looked like London Fletcher threw it to the end zone, but after you see Neal hit him, you understand why. The difference between this and Eric Moulds, you've got to get 2 feet on the ground, have possession, and make a football move where it might be, you could judge it differently. But the fact that he never, when you don't make a move, you've got to continue the process, fall to the ground, and still have complete control of the football.
Josh Miller, here he is, with the wind at his back. And he's uncorked some big ones going in this direction today. Nick Clements waiting to return. A low driving kick, and he did not take into the wind consideration, so he fields it, backpedaling across the 20. Clemens waits for the wave to go by him. Flag thrown into the pile, and another Buffalo mistake on the way. 61-yard boot, 14-yard run back, and the Bills, it appears, will get backed up.
You start adding up all these penalties the Bills got, you need a calculator. I've run out of fingers and toes.
Illegal block in the back during the pass, during the run, excuse me. Number 35, number 35. Illegal block in the back. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
11th penalty of the game against the Bills. Drew Bledsoe. Just inside of 8 minutes to play. About to take the field again. You see at the top of your screen. Right bottom of the screen. There it is. That was Joe Burns blocking in the back. Bledsoe and the Bills. They're 7 down. Not to be ruled out. We're back in Buffalo. The Bills down 7. They punted on their last 4 possessions. And they begin this series from their own 19. With 7:57 remaining. Jim Nance, Phil Simms, Seth Davis. And back to the line of scrimmage. That's it for Travis Henry. Again, the Bills unable to put any points on the board in this half. Punting the last 4 series. They had that one drive, though, where they had a 1st down taken away because of a penalty. And they were all the way in the area of the New England 30. They've had 4 false starts, the Bills, 3 personal fouls, 2 defensive offsides, a block in the back, number of mistakes. 2nd and 9. Late flag thrown as Bledsoe got back to about the 21. This could be a face mask call.
That's what it looked like. Ty Warren went by Drew Bledsoe and grabbed his face mask.
Personal foul, number 94, defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
And it's called on Ty Warren, who actually ended up being the selection by the Patriots on the Bledsoe draft pick they traded for. Here's the Sims spotlight.
The pocket, Drew Bledsoe coming in the game. Don't take a sack when given time. He can throw it down the field. Really the only sack that happened all day long. Too many blitzers, no time, and he did the right thing. And it was kind of in the middle of the field. So when you take a sack on 3rd and long in the middle of the field, it's not a big deal. So good job by Drew Bledsoe and the offensive line managing the pass protection today.
Well, that penalty comes up big, and instead of 3rd and long,
let's hit him.
1st down for the Bills. And that ball is deflected by Mike Vrabel.
Well, Mike Vrabel, he just has the sense on how to play football. He just good knowledge. He sees that it might be a quick pass. Watch him stop, hits the football, and that is a terrific job by the big outside linebacker. Watch him jump, very athletic. Rodney Harrison says this is the smartest football player in the classroom that we have on our team.
He says he's a classroom coach. They fake the end around. Now they look left side. Set it up to Henry. Sidesteps the tackle. And with Vrabel by the ankles, Henry is near the first down.
Good job by Drew Bledsoe. The timing is thrown off. Somehow he manages to hold it together to the right of your screen. Travis Henry gets out there. Bledsoe makes a good throw over the top. Travis Henry, you got to be impressed. He is one hard runner with the football.
They had picked up another first down. That's 2 on this series. And that's just the 3rd player to catch a ball today for the Bills. Bledsoe looking pass all the way. There's Moulds. Moulds at the 34-yard line of New England.
Get used to seeing that. With this running game and Mike Mularkey and the play action fakes they're going to do more and more of, you're going to see Eric Moulds over the middle making a lot of catches this year from Drew Bledsoe. That really fooled the defense by the Patriots, and look at the space between the linebackers and the safety. Easy throw and catch.
They're on the same page this time with the route, and first down for the Bills. Patriots coming in. Bledsoe's pass away again. Moulds. That's good for only 5 as Ty Law brings him down immediately.
Well, for the Buffalo Bills, you almost have to chuckle when you watch London Fletcher on defense. And if you watch Rodney Harrison on defense for the Patriots, he is everywhere. And when he gets on that bus after the game, I tell you, he has to take a deep breath and go, man, because he is a hard worker.
A lot of people holding their breath here as the Bills are driving, trying to tie it inside 5 minutes. Cross him up with the run. Henry has the first down at the 23. And there's Rodney Harrison again in on the play.
Well, you heard it. Drew Bledsoe, Mike Mularkey, they both told us when you play the Patriots, come up, find out where number 37 is. Blitzing, making the tackles in the run game, hitting receivers at the line of scrimmage.
Deepest penetration of the half for the Bills. Most impressive series we've seen since the 2nd quarter for them. And the first down back to Henry. In traffic for 2. Willie McGinnis got tangled with Tim Ewis. What about the Bills' miscues you've talked about, Phil?
Well, personal foul by London Fletcher. Bad call, wasn't one. Drew Bledsoe twice has not been on the same page with Eric Moulds, but this was a big one, offsides.
Took the
field goal.
Yep, took the points off the board, resulted in 7.
7, that's right.
Brady to Graham. 2nd down and 8. So we approach 3.5. That's Neufeld. Remember, he got banged up in the 3rd quarter, but back in there with the catch. Sets up 3rd and short. 3rd and about 2. First catch of the season for Ryan Neufeld.
And it wasn't easy. Really a nice catch, going to the sideline, reaching out with his hands, and picking up a couple tough yards after the catch.
Big call right here. The short 2 needed for the first. They're going to try to go with Henry, and he stumbled. Never had a chance. No gain. 4th and 2 with 3 minutes and change.
Big decision for Mike Mularkey. What do you do? He's going to call a timeout, I think, to discuss it.
What do you do? What would you do?
I wouldn't have called a timeout.
Yeah, you'd like to have that one back, wouldn't you? You're going to need that one later.
Yes. But you watch that run by Travis Henry. It was reminiscent of last week. He's too excited, got going forward too quick. The hole is there. It's what I thought they would do, run the football. He's going to pick up the first down and just trips.
Wow, look at that hole.
That is huge and by NFL standards. And last week he slipped a couple times running up in the towards the line of scrimmage trying to pick up some yards.
Yeah, you thought may have been the cleats last week, some in Oakland 2 weeks ago, but Ty Warren was closing that hole. A timeout with 4th and 2.
But what saves the Buffalo Bills here, Jim, if they don't get it, you still have the 2-minute warning and 2 timeouts. So it's you know, I'm a believer, even in these big moments, just call the play and move forward, because they know what they want to call 4th and short in this game. They probably made this decision during the week.
Would field goal have even been a thought for you?
No, I would go for it to answer that. No, in this situation, I think they're making the right one. Give yourself 2 chances to score the touchdown.
Here we go. This time looking pass, and Bledsoe fumbles the football. Bruschi was in his face, and here goes Richard Seymour off and running. Rodney Harrison in on the escort. And the Patriots right here all but put it away on the run back by Richard Seymour.
Disorganized right from the start. It had no flow to the play. It looked like Drew Bledsoe, the running back, were confused on where it was going. It was going to be a play action pass, and they didn't block it well up front.
What a shock. Bledsoe turns around after taking the snap. He had a Patriot right in his face, and Richard Seymour runs for his first career touchdown. On the recovery, looked like 68 yards on the return. The young star defensive lineman, already a Pro Bowler twice in his first 3 seasons. And this place is just stunned.
Well, they did what they did all day. You kept giving New England chances. Buffalo did so many good things on offense, but mistakes. Teddy Bruschi comes in unblocked, and then Richard Seymour picks it up and scores. But Teddy Bruschi, good timing. It was never going to work from the word go. Nobody blocks him. They were confused up front. And it happened so fast. The timing was so bad that Drew Bledsoe also lost control of the football.
How many times, though, when the Patriots defense comes up with a big play, is Teddy Bruschi somehow involved in it?
Yeah, and Richard Seymour. Look, no flags on the field. He knows that's the game.
Yeah, eyes sweeping the field, looking for hopefully no flag if you're Belichick. And it was clean. Charlie Weiss and Tom Brady celebrate.
Oh, I'm not. He just talked about the running back and what the running back and his mesh. He was describing it. What went wrong? Boy, unbelievable amount of mistakes by the Buffalo Bills today.
McGee from the 15. McGee runs right side. Patrick pass. Swings him down at the 39. And tonight on CBS. And that's the returner, McGee, shaken up.
I want to look at that play one more time, Jim. It looks like there's no reason in the NFL that players are going to come this free. Teddy Bruschi on the blitz. Was he supposed to be picked up by the, oh boy, there's so many. Richard Seymour's coming free too. So my original thought was maybe the running back went the wrong way, but it wouldn't have mattered. Richard Seymour was going to make the sack or disrupt the play for no gain also.
They bring out the 18 card. Bruschi not only all over Bledsoe in his face, knocks the ball loose. Not that Mike Williams was going to catch Seymour, but Bruschi alert enough to jump right up and just shield and block and bump Mike Williams out of the play, and Seymour could go the rest of the way untouched.
Mike Vrabel, Teddy Bruschi, Rodney Harrison. The only way you could describe them, they're just players.
Bledsoe back to the line of scrimmage. You know, that fumble and the hit, that goes down as a sack. So much the topic of discussion around here, the sack business, and in fact it is officially a sack that looks like will do in the Bills today on a drive.
Yeah.
4th and 2 play, trying to drive and tie the game.
But that would be wrong, Jim. That's wrong.
And there is yet another one, and that's Vrabel.
It's about penalties. That's what did the Buffalo Bills in today. And a lot of them were their own fault. So it's not the sacks. It was an interception. It's not the fumble. It was the penalties.
That sack by Vrabel, 3 sacks, the last 3 plays. We're at the 2-minute warning. New England up 2 touchdowns. We're back here with 2 minutes to play, and a day of big plays and big mistakes is really how I think you would define it, Phil.
Yeah, big mistakes. You know, the Buffalo Bills, what they look like, they're so close in all 3 games of winning them, but they look like a team with a new coach. So they're trying to adapt to what they want to be, and they're close, but they're not there. And in the NFL, the difference between 3-0 and 0-3, Jim, you've watched all 3 of the games. It's very close.
And Buffalo with 3rd down and 16, and they're coming in on Bledsoe in a hurry again, but it gets it away to the Moulds. Moulds racing. What a nice effort there by Eric Moulds near the 1st down. I think he has it.
Well, Eric Moulds is back. Just like you said, is physically so sharp.
That pass play puts Bledsoe over 200 yards passing for the first time in 7 games. Timeout called by the Patriots. Again, it's a doubleheader day coming up. Denver at Tampa. Some will see the Jets against Miami, or Tennessee and San Diego. And we'll be getting you to those games, to the game in your area here shortly. Patriots, well, next week we'll host Miami, then host Seattle. Got the Jets. Well, 3 straight home games.
You look at the Patriots, the one thing that comes to mind when it comes to pressure situations, they're great. And I hate to say that word, but they are great when the pressure is on. There's no way you win this many in a row unless you are able to do that.
Again, almost untouched. Rodney Harrison forced Bledsoe to get rid of it.
Tell you, I've watched a lot of Patriot games. Hey, let's watch. The next play, Rodney Harrison's going to come again. They are going to blitz. If you don't stop it, Bill Belichick and Romeo Crennel, they just go, well, if they're not going to stop it, here he comes. Good timing. If you don't pick it up, we're going to try it again. Let's see if he comes one more time. And here he comes.
Here he comes, looking for that same gap. It was there, but Bledsoe got it away to Moulds. Boy, there is a huge hole on that right side, and Rodney Harrison exposing it.
Well, he wants them to close it up. He's getting tired.
Talking about Rodney.
Yes, Rodney Harrison is free again.
He gets that running start. And that's Sam Aiken.
Come on, I got to tell you, let's go. Stop it. You've got to change the play, the protection.
Timeout called by Buffalo. 4th and 2 on the way.
You know, you just don't give in. You keep trying. Don't let them rub it in on you. You never know. You could score here, onside kick. There's still over a minute to go. You always play it all the way to the end.
Well, for Buffalo and its schedule, they go to the road next to take on the New York Jets. Miami's here in 2 weeks, then at Baltimore. Arizona hosting them, and then the Jets. They get the Jets twice in a 5-week span. This is a 0-3 team that you can almost hear right now what Herman Edwards and the Jets will be saying this is a team that could have been 2-1 maybe, you know, with a few breaks here and there. Could have. Well, certainly it's a far better than an 0-3 team. Well, Jim, nothing to show for it.
Jim, all you do, the players will watch the film, and that'll be enough. They'll go, uh-oh, it's not what you hope to see. They're players, and good players on this Buffalo football team.
4th and 2, last breath, and it's kept going here this series as Aiken steps out at the 32. .59 seconds to play here. Fumble return by Richard Seymour, the apparent backbreaker. With the Bills driving here, trying to somehow score quickly. Try an onside kick, who knows.
Week 1 was a bitter defeat for the Buffalo Bills. I don't know which is worse, that one or this one.
I think that one had such a stunning blow to the whole team. Even Mike Mularkey said to us, he says, I haven't even gotten over that one yet. You know, you think you've won it. They had 3 4th-down conversions on the winning drive.
This is their second charge timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Timeout called by the Patriots if you missed the front end of that. You know, you think about that fumble recovery and how that's going to be replayed. Remember on 3rd and 2, and you talked about how Travis Henry got rather excitable and maybe would have had the first down had he not lost his footing. And that's certainly, you go back, and all those are such significant watershed moments in a game.
This game, as a player, when you watch the film and coaches, you always go, oh, if I'd have done this, both teams are going to look at it and just go, oh, there was about 10 times you had a chance to turn the game around. So many ups and downs for both teams.
.59 seconds to go, and ball at the 32 of the Patriots. And Bruschi lines up as a down lineman. He's picked up. Seymour, though, comes crashing in. He took advantage of the sub, Marcus Price, at the left tackle, and that is the 6th sack registered by the New England defense.
Such a good day of pass protection by the Patriots. It really was, all the way to the very end. And the statistics are really getting out of balance, and it's probably not a true indicator of how well they protected Drew Bledsoe today.
Clock is running and still trying to get set here. As the losing streak is about to reach 6 for Buffalo. Willie McGinnis got a hand on that one. 6 in a row on the short end for Buffalo, and 18 straight, including the playoffs, for New England. With 15 regular season wins. Again, we talked about it. That is the official NFL record that the league keeps, separating regular season and postseason marks and stats. Moulds to the 27.
Oh, and every play's a jailbreak.
Looks like one more snap. And again, Bledsoe with players in his face. And that was ruled out. Not a pick. It was ruled incomplete as Santi Samuel had 1 foot out. And there's the win streak. They joined the Bears, Dolphins, and 49ers and Broncos. We asked Bill Belichick about it. He said, you know, I only care about the relevance of a divisional game and